Okay, so designing the front and back walls. So they ask us to mark the corners of the walls on the 11 by 17 paper. Use the same method you used for the two side walls, but this time make each wall 10 feet long. So remember, on the previous drawings, we counted up, we counted up 16, right? We counted up 16, so just like on a coordinate grid, I would start on the line and I would count up 16 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They also asked us to go over 2. So I'm going to go over 2 from my solid line right here, 1, 2. And I'm going to make a mark. Okay? That's the edge. That's the edge of my wall. So they say that my wall now has to be 10 feet, right? So I'm going to use my 3/4 scale again, which is right here. And it's 10 feet 0 inches, right? So I'm going to just start at my 0 here. And I'm going to make another mark at 10 feet. Okay. And that's the length of my wall right there. All right, whoops, gotta get this guy. I have to stand up probably to do a better job at this marking here. So it's a little bit hard to see looking down. So my concern is that it'll be harder for you to see my pencil mark. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay. So that wall is 10 feet, right? And now from here and going up, it still says to mark the wall height at 92 inches for both walls. So let's see, 92 inches, we did that before. How many feet are 92 inches? So 92 divided by 12, that's gonna be 7 feet and 0.666. Well, I know that's 2/3, but let's think about how I know that. So if I take 7 times 12, I get 84 inches, right? So my total height is 92 inches. I know that there are 7 feet in that, and what is left over from that? So I know that in 7 feet there's 84 inches. I'm going to subtract that. So 92 minus 84. And so I have 8 inches left over. So this is 7 feet, 8 inches. Okay? And so when I use my architectural ruler, I'm going to go up 7 feet, 8 inches and make a mark for my wall, for the height of my wall. And so remember, each of these is 1 inch. So I have my mark here on 7. And I'm going to go up and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to make a mark. Okay? Right there. That's the corner of my wall. And I can do the same thing here. 7. So here it's easy to get your wall a little bit not straight, right? So it's hard to make sure that you're exactly straight. So there, my mark is on 7, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sometimes my eyes play tricks on me. Okay, so I have a little bit of a mark there, and I'm going to draw my line for this wall height. And I'm going to draw this line. So remember, our actual wall height is going to be 8 feet. But this is the inside of our 2x4s, right? So we're going to be adding 2 inches on each side, which if we have 7 feet 8 inches here, when we add 2 inches on this side and 2 inches on this side, it's going to become 8 feet, right? So Now, it tells us to draw the sole plate and the top plate, which is that extra 2 inches on each edge, the top and the bottom that we're talking about. But before we do that, I'm really quickly going to draw this other wall over here, because we're going to have 2 walls on here. One is going to have a door and one is going to have a window. Okay, so we're going to go up 16 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and over 2, right? So this is going to be the edge. And then we want to go this direction. We're going to go to 10. So I'm going to go ahead and put my mark, my 10-foot mark here. And my 0 is where I'm going to make my mark for the end of my wall. Okay. Let's see, like so. Sorry guys, it's taking me a little time. I want to make sure it's right, if I can. Right, okay, there we go. And then I have to take my architectural ruler again, my 3/4. Sometimes I lose it. 3/32, 3/8, 3/4. And I'm going to draw my 7'8" wall again. So I'm going to put my mark here. So this is my 6-inch mark. So I know that it's going to be 1, 2 more, and there should be, so that's 8, right? 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's at the right spot. And I'm going to go up to 7. So it's going to be right there. Okay, and I kind of make a little bit of a T mark there so that I can see which way I'm going. And then here, I'm going to do the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be right there. And I'm going to connect these guys down to here. I got to use my straight edge though, because it will work better for me. Okay, and here, and across the top. Like so. Whoops, I'm gonna erase the extra, then I overdrew it. Okay, so draw the sole plate and the top plate. Do you remember how to do that? We're gonna draw a 2-inch, so the sole plate is 2x4 that forms the base of the wall right here, right? So we're gonna start on the left side of your paper and carefully draw a horizontal line from the first mark you made to the second mark you made using the scale. Mark off 2 inches below the line you first drew. So remember, that means we're gonna have to use our little scale here at the end, right? And we're gonna have to use 2 inches. So to do that, I just count 2 of these longer marks, 1, 2. So right there, and I'm gonna make a mark. And I'm gonna go right there, and I'm gonna make a mark on my 0. And then I'm going to draw my line. And then I have my sole plate, okay? And I'm gonna extend these down. Okay, voila. There's our sole plate, and then we're gonna do the same thing up on the top. We're gonna extend the line 2 inches because we have a 2x4, right? And you want to do the best you can on this. It can get a little bit cattywampus because of our line here. Let me redo this one. Okay, there's that one. I'll do this really quick. Sorry about the noise. Oops. There's my 0. And I'm going to do this up here. Okay, and then I'm going to take my straight edge and draw in my sole plate and my top plate. Oops. Okay, whoops, I overshot that guy. I'll erase that when I fix this line here. Okay. Okay, so we have now taken care of that aspect. Draw in the first and the last stud. Draw in the first and the last stud. So if you don't remember how to do that, you just simply turn to the page that says draw in the first and the last stud. That was on page 5. It says draw a line from the left end of your top plate down to the left end of your sole plate. This line represents the edge of your first vertical stud. Measure in 2 inches and carefully draw a line parallel. So we've already done that line, so I just need to measure in 2 inches and draw a line parallel to that. Okay? All right. So I need to mark my 2 inches again. So there's my 0, and I put my line on my 2 inches, and I make a mark. Same up here. Right? Because this board is actually 2 inches wide. It's a 2x4. Okay? And I do it on all of these. And I'm going to turn that over because of my camera, the edge of my table and my camera's apparatus that holds it. I have to kind of turn it around. And so here we go. Here is our 2x4 here. Remember, it doesn't go through the sole plate. You have to stop your line before you get to the sole plate because it sits. The sole plate and the top plate sit on top of this 2x4 and bottom. Okay. Okay, so our next set of instructions says, remember that code says studs must be on 16-inch centers. Okay. So from this stud, our next center is 16 inches. So it says here, then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to frame in the door. It says you can refer back to figure 5 if you need help. Also, you can see figure 12. So let's look at figure 5 just for a moment. Let's just look back at this is figure 8 and figure 7. And that's figure 6 on this page. So here's figure 5. So figure 5 shows us that we have a stud, and then we have these trimmers on the inside that are trimming out our door, and the door header, and another stud, okay? And here's our top plate, and here's our sole plate. Okay, so that should help us a little bit on how we're gonna do this. So frame in the door. So what it looks like to me is we have one stud on a 16-inch center, right? And then we have a second stud on a 16-inch center. And it looks like they've got some extra reinforcement here. They've got another stud on each side, and then they've got the trimmer, and then they've got the trimmer here, and another stud. Okay? So where to put the opening? According to the problem, you need to center the door and window on each wall. Since you know your wall is 10 feet long, use the scale to make a mark exactly 5 feet in from one side. This marks the center of the door opening. You will use a 36-inch door, which has a rough opening width of 38 inches. Half of 38 inches is 9 inches. Therefore, measure out 19 half of 38 inches is 19 inches. Therefore, measure out 19 inches to the left and right of the center mark and make the marks. Okay? So let's do that. So 5 inches. So our wall is 10 feet long, right? So half of 10 feet is 5 feet, right? So here's our mark for 5 feet. Okay? From there, they're asking us to make a mark. They're saying that our door is going to be 38 inches roughed out. There's going to be trim, so we have to give a little bit of room on each side for the door to hang. So a 36-inch door is going to rough out to 38 inches. Half of 38 inches is 19 inches. So we have to take, on each side of this center mark, we have to take a 19-inch mark, okay? So what does that mean as far as our special scale here? Well, 19 inches is going to be 1 foot 7 inches, right? Because if we subtract 12, because 12 inches is a foot, we have 7 left over. So 1 foot 7 inches. So I'm going to put my mark here. There's 6 inches. There's 7. So I'm going to put one of my 19-inch marks right here. Okay, and the other one right here. Okay? So my door is going to fall between those. Okay? Choose the best position for the opening. Once you have marked the door opening, you may notice that the right-hand side of the opening is very close to an existing stud. Oh, so I think I need to go ahead and put my studs in right now, except for probably right where the door opening is. So let me do that really quickly because I haven't done that yet. And remember, they're on 16-inch centers. So that's going to be 1 foot 4 inches. So here's my center mark for this 2x4. And I can actually leave that there because that's 4 inches right there. And so 1 foot 4 inches, that's going to be the center of that stud. And 1 foot 4 inches, that's going to be the center of that stud. That must be the one they're talking about right there, because this is going to be, my stud's going to take up that space right there, and my stud's going to take up that space right there, right? And then we would have, so let me put those two in before I go any farther so it doesn't become more confusing. Here's the center of my stud. Now I'm going to mark where my center of my next stud is. And then I'm going to mark this 1 foot 4 inches on 16-inch centers, right? So then I'm going to mark where my stud is, 1 inch on each side because they're 2x4s. So it has to take up two inches. And here, 1 inch on each side. Okay? I'm going to draw those in to help us just a little bit reduce our confusion about what this looks like. Okay? And here. Right? Whoops. Okay. There's my door opening right here, right? If I were going to continue over with my studs from here, my next stud would be in my door opening, right? And my next stud would still be in my door opening. I'm going to erase those here as soon as I get my next one drawn. And then my next stud is just going to be on the edge of my door opening. That might be kind of handy. I'm going to draw in each side of that stud while I'm here, because that could be my trimmer right there. And then here's my last stud on this side. Okay, so I'm going to erase this one because these are in my door opening. Okay, whoops. Tape isn't sticking very well. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to draw them across the top again. So I put my 4-inch mark in the middle of that stud, and I make my mark here at 1. Whoops, 1. And then I'm going to mark each side of that guy. This is kind of time consuming, huh? And then I put my 4-inch. It's 4 inches here. 4 inches plus 1 foot is going to be 16 inches, right? And then make a mark on each side. Now I put my 4-inch mark again right in the middle of that one, and I make another mark right here where my stud on the 16-inch center is going to go. Okay, and then I believe I'm going to have one more because I had one more in the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and draw in these studs that are not in the middle of my opening. Okay, so here we go. It's a little time consuming, huh? It's kind of a long video again. Sorry about that, but I think it'll be helpful for you. Okay? So we still have these marks up here, and they're going to come in and tie into the header on the door. But these marks down here we're not going to use because our door is going to be in this area. So let's see what it talks about, tells us how to take care of this space here. It says the door opening is going to be very close to an existing stud. Instead of moving the stud to accommodate the door opening, it would be easier to simply move your door opening over an inch or so to the left. This will allow you to incorporate the existing stud into your rough opening. So I feel like once you have marked the door opening, you may notice that the right-hand side of the opening is very close to an existing stud. So that's right here. Instead of moving this stud to accommodate the door opening, it would be easier to simply move your door opening over an inch or so to the left. This will allow you to incorporate the existing stud. And you can see figure 13. It says the best choice is to move the door opening over to the left an inch to allow the existing stud to be a part of the roughed out opening for the door. So we're going to move everything over an inch. Okay? So here's our 3/4. So instead of the edge of our door opening being right there, we're going to move it over an inch, okay? And we're going to move this one over an inch. And then we have room for our trim, our door trim right here, because there's going to be, this is 2 inches right here, okay? So to begin making the door opening, draw in the stud. Draw in another 2x4 stud directly to the left of it. Okay, so I'm going to draw in this stud. I need to make a mark here and a mark here. And how far is it? Oh, and there's going to be one more 2x4 stud right in here. Right? I feel like my measurements are a little off here, so let me. And so I think part of the measurements being off a little bit are because I'm working with a paper ruler. And so it's okay a little bit, you know, if your measurements are a little off because of that. So remember, from here to the edge was going to be 19 inches. So we're going to make that 20 inches now because we're moving the whole door to the left 1 inch. So here's 1 foot. And so we have to add 8 inches to that 1 foot. So 8 inches is going to be, let's see, there's 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be right here. Okay, and then on each side of that, one side and the other, I'm going to mark my 2x4. Okay, and how far is that from this one? It's 1, 2, 3 inches. Right, so I'm going to go over here, 4 inches actually. And I'm going to make a mark because I'm going to draw this 2x4 in. Okay. This is another stud. This is going to help hold our door. Okay, the edge. Okay. So that's that one. Then draw another 2x4 stud directly to the left of it. To begin making the door opening, then draw another 2x4 stud directly to the left of it. This stud is your right trimmer board. Oh, I think they're talking about this one. Right, so we're going to draw this one up here. We have to draw a 2x4. So 1, 2. And that should connect with our guy here. But it's going to end because we're going to have a header up here. At 7 feet 2 inches. Now, measure across the full roughed out width of 38 inches and make a mark. This is the right edge of the right trimmer board. So I'm not reading this correctly, I don't think. To begin making the door opening, draw in this stud. So I felt like they were talking about this stud, but maybe they were talking about this stud. Do I have 38 inches across? That's a really good question. So 38 inches is 3 feet and 2 inches, right? So 3 feet looks like I have 3 feet 1 inch. So I think maybe I need to move this guy over a little bit. So you notice, hopefully, that while I'm doing this, my drawing isn't perfect, is it? And I'm making mistakes, or I'm having situations where I have to make sense out of what I'm reading and what the drawing is telling me. So I wanted to make sure that that you saw that that was happening to me too, okay? And that, you know, it's just part of it, trying to make sense out of it. One thing I want to do right now, I want to kind of get an idea of how high this 2x4 is going to go, because the door opening is 7 feet 2 inches. And so I'm going to put my 7 right here, and I'm going to go up to 7, 2. And I'm going to make a mark. That's as high as this guy is going to go. right? Just so that I have that reference. Okay, so from this edge, we're going to have 38 inches. So 38 inches is 3 feet and 2 inches. So there's my 3 feet, and there's my 2. And that's the edge of my 2x4, so here's the other edge. And again, if you notice, it wasn't really that far off from the one I'd drawn in. And this may just be an issue of the paper ruler. So don't stress too much about this. Do the best you can. So there's 3 feet, and there's 38 inches. Okay. So I really don't think I was that far off to start with. I probably didn't need to erase those lines. I think I was probably okay. But anyway, just do the best you can. We're all in this together, right? Doing the best we can. And it's kind of fun. Okay, whoops, I didn't go in there. Okay, so now I have my door opening. Okay, and so the left trimmer board and the stud next to it. So I think that this guy, the trimmer board goes up here to this, and then there's a stud next to it. This is the same mark as what's over here, right? And then there's a stud next to it. So I'm gonna mark that in. And it just looks like pretty much it pretty much butts up against this other stud, right? Goes all the way up. Okay? So those 2 studs are drawn in. So let's take a look. Let's draw in the window. So we're going to draw in the top plate that goes across the door. I didn't talk about that part. But there's going to be a 2x4 that spans this whole distance here, right? So I'm going to erase that because it's a little bit too dark. And then this is going to be 7 feet 2 inches, the opening. Okay. So I'm going to put my 7 feet 2 inches. And this is 7 feet 2 inches. Okay. And then that's a 2x4. So I've got to go ahead and make it 2 inches thick. And draw across. Okay. And the other thing they have on this drawing is they have another board that's on top. You can see this is 8 foot 2 inches from the outside to the outside instead of just 8 feet. So originally, if you remember on this drawing, it's 8 feet, but they actually have another board on the very top of the top plate. Looks to me like making it 8 feet 2 inches. So we might have to come back to that. I'm not going to draw that in right this second. We might come back to that, okay? So now we have our door. Our door is 7 feet 2 inches, right? From here to here. Oops, I'm going to draw this in. Okay. And this is 10 feet, right? From here to here. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and draw that in because I guess it's there in the drawing, and I guess I can always erase it, right? If somehow it's not there in the end when I'm gonna just draw a 2x4 right up here on the top. And I can see that it overhangs a little bit on their drawing. I kind of feel like it's there for some sort of reason. Right? And draw this out here. And then my other dimension here. So and this is 8 foot 2 inches. Right to there. Okay, so I'm going to stop it there for now, and I'm going to do the window next, the side of this with the window next, but I'm going to separate the video, and then my final video will be with the trusses.